Hi guys, I'm Christopher Allen.
Hey Christopher.
This is called I Found God. I found God. I found him in the reflection of a watch in a downtown pawn shop, and I found God. I saw his face on the side of a shopping cart, and his lips were quivering with an advertisement for detergent, but I found God. I saw his arms outstretched on a First Avenue corner asking for change, but I elbowed past him because I thought I saw God. He was shouting and waving a sign saying how much he hated, but I waited and he never came, and then I found God. She was sitting there crying because her father left, and she loved him, and he loved her, but he was too afraid to show it. And then I found God. He was telling us how he'd met his wife, and they had a rough past, and they lived a rough life, but he loved her, and she never quite left. And in their stories, I found God. He was in their first day and their first night, their first kiss and their first fight, and she's gone now, but God's probably around, somewhere. I found God in my 8th grade screenplay, and our dialogue left a bit to be desired, but I've grown older and I've grown tired, and I miss that blind faith of when I found God in a milk carton. He was missing for years, and no one remembers what he looked like, but we haven't found the body yet, and that's always a good sign. I knew a man who met him. He took a drive and went looking for him. Took a dive and found him under a bridge, waiting in a burst of red, and after 3 hours in ICU, he found him again. I found God in a hospital bed. He flirted with the nurses and mocked the doctors, and I think for just a second he looked at me, and he knew who I was, and I felt peace, and I felt loved, and sure, maybe he was just a little bit drunk, but God forgives, and so might I, and I might die before I tell a girl I love her, but I found God in my first kiss, a split-second peck on the lips, but it was enough to turn my stomach until I found God on my first day of college. To see there was something much larger than I, and I was terrified that I didn't show it, because I didn't want God to see until I found him in the doctor's office. It had been a rough go, but I was feeling better though because I found God in my first cane. So I became a limping artist, a staggering musician, a lame poet, and I guess I still am. And maybe I haven't found God yet, but I'm still looking.